What's up, everybody? Sydney here. It's time for us to have a little conversation, a little heart to heart, if you will. You see, you guys are being told a lie. Well constructed, well conceived delusion. And you're buying into it hook, line, and sinker. You see, your politicians are all in bed together. Every one of them. It doesn't matter if it's Pierre Poilievre, Justin Trudeau, Mary Simon, Mark Carney, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Putin, everyone. Because they know something that you don't. You see, while you guys are fighting for this illusion that you have of sovereignty in Canada, which, by the way, I can tell you is actually bullshit. It doesn't exist. You only think it does. Your parents might have told you it did. Your grandparents might have told you it did. And yeah, they died in wars. And they bled for what they thought was a nation. But it was all a well-constructed lie. It actually wasn't the case. It's a corporation. But it's part of a private trust. That's all allodial titles are actually owned by the Crown, especially in Canada or most of the Commonwealth nations. That's mineral rights for those of you that don't really know what that is. None of you actually own any of the houses that you think you own in Canada. You can't actually own the property. You can own the equitable title and the ability to be able to borrow against or leverage against the property, but the mineral rights, the actual allodial title sits with the Crown. There's only one way you can actually pull allodial titles in Canada, and that's by having a common law organizational trust, filing a UCC3 chattel property, and moving that property into the trust once you have the equitable title in your possession. That's a story for another time. What I'm going to tell you about right now is the big fat lie that nobody else wants to talk about. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why? Why is everybody targeting Canada? Well, here, let me explain it to you. Back in the day, you guys had the East India Trading Company, right? That always tried to find the Northwest Passage. Has it not set into you yet that you're not on a big spinny ball? Have you not caught on to the narrative of why Russia owns one side of it? Then it goes into Alaska being the United States. Then we have the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut, and then Greenland up the other side for the holy little trifecta to make a complete circle. Now do you know why Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut are listed as territories and not provinces? Oh, did that not set into you? They're all up for grabs. Everything that's a territory is up for grabs. So all Trump has to do in order to control commerce in the future between him and Trump and Putin is literally control Canada. You might think it's for resources. Yeah, it is. But not the resources you're thinking of. I don't really give a shit about the oil. I don't give a shit about the cars or the development or the manufacturing. Yeah, it's good. It's good revenue. But it's actually to control the Northwest Passage. Whoever controls Canada will control all of commerce for North America and South America. That's a true story. They want you to believe that you guys are actually fighting for Canada versus the United States, that you're fighting from some version of sovereignty. Why do you think Mark Carney is trying to get you guys to go into the EU? Does that not tell you something? You think that you're part of the Commonwealth already, but yet they're trying to get you to go into the World Economic Forum and get you to go into the EU? Think about that for a second. Donald Trump is talking about the United States making Canada the 51st state. How is that even possible? Where are your royals now? Where's King Charles now? Where's Prince William? Where's all these royal family members that should be negotiating on your behalf to ensure that that doesn't happen? Why is the Governor General of Canada not stepped in? Mary Simon. Where's King Charles? It's because it's all a lie. It's all part of a script. Do you know the banker for all three city-states? Washington, D.C. is controlled by who? Donald Trump. That's one. London, England is controlled by the Crown. It's King Charles, that's 2. And then there's the Vatican. That's 3. Who's the banker for all 3? Good old Red Shield family. Are you trying to tell me that this isn't all a script to unite all the systems together? This has all been done for a while. You, the general public, actually think you're the ones that are being the victims here. They have you believing that you're segregated. They have you believing that you're involved in patriotism, that your countries are sovereign. They're not. They're all part of the system. They're all part of the UN. And the world reserve currency is the United States dollar. That's where Trump is drawing his power from. Because all Bank of International Settlements transactions are settled in the United States dollars. Canada Inc. is actually located in Washington, D.C. You all need to start making a choice. You can either buy into the narrative and you can keep fighting with each other, or you can stand with us, stand united against the corporations, against the golden calf, against these false prophets and the Ponzi scheme that is coming from the south, east, west. Here in Canada, you are going to decide the fate of most of the world. You are going to decide what happens for your children, your children's children, and their children's children. You might not want to believe that, but it is the truth. You will either bend the knee or you'll fight. The question is, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So what do you stand for? Do you stand for truth, honor, integrity? How many soldiers went and fought wars only to find out it was bullshit? For decades and decades. Men went to Afghanistan, were fighting the dads, and were there so long they ended up fighting the children that were just born when they got there. That's how long we've been at war. And it will always keep going. There will always be a new enemy. There will always be a new target. There will always be a new bad boy on the block that must be crippled, that must be brought into control. When does it end? When are you guys going to stand up for yourselves? Anonymous. You hide behind your masks. You hide behind the scenes. My name is right out here, right in front of the open. Every agency on the planet knows where I am, knows who I am. I don't run, I don't hide. That's a leader. I can tell you truths that will blow your mind. But here's one of the fundamental truths that I'm going to share with you right now. This bullshit that they got going on in the United States, bringing this so-called version of Christianity into the White House, nope. It's false. And I expected better out of you. What you are selling the people on is an actually well-orchestrated lie. Because I have challenged the Vatican myself to prove what they say is true, that they didn't steal all of their information, that they didn't plagiarize their entire belief structure from other practices and beliefs and religions. You have a televangelist in the White House. Smarten up. All roads do not lead to Rome. And the people might not want to stand up against you, but this boy is not afraid of you, sir. Bring it. I'm ready.